Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conexiones. We are in Thanksgiving week, and tonight I want to give thanks to something that seems so taken for granted, and it is my voice. My voice is finally back. I actually lost my voice over the weekend, and I was thinking how we don't think of how blessed we are with everything we have. So if you hear my voice a little weird, it's because I'm just recovering and actually getting it back because I was whispering the whole time. So thank you so much for joining us. We have a special show tonight with a very, very amazing guest. She is our November cover girl, and her name is Cristy Cali, and we're going to talk about her life and her success as a designer and everything else she does in her life. We also have the highlights from Azucar Ball, which took place last weekend. And as always, Jay Coelho will bring us the events for the weekend. So with all that, I want to welcome Cristy Cali
Thank you
to
so much.
Conexiones. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you.
And I'm also so happy that we got to tell your story. You have been doing your line of jewelry, beautiful, different styles. But the most exciting thing that's happening lately for you is the opening of your flag store on Magazine Street,
Yes.
which is beautiful. We have pictures of it on the magazine, and you got to tell us how you gotten there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have a very successful online presence, online business that
Yeah.
is known nationally and internationally, and now it's like that chance to get back to the face-to-face customer experience in your hometown,
Exactly.
New Orleans.
Exactly.
Tell me, what is it that's most exciting for you right now?
Well, I've been online for 7 years. And when I started the business, I honestly had the intention of never opening a store. And I just felt that, especially at that time in 2012, things were getting so digital. There's, this all new technology coming out, and social media was definitely a big deal, even though it still is today. But I feel that within these last 7 years, it's kind of like gone out and come full circle, where people really went online and were really into social media, but now people are really looking for that person-to-person connection, but bringing social media with it. So it's like we went away for a little while, and now we're coming back and including social media in all of the things we do. So after about 6 years, 1 year ago, I started feeling like there's got to be more that I can do. And I was feeling like I wasn't giving the best that I could to my customers. So it was actually my customers also, saying things like, oh, well, can we meet you and can we do this? And, just looking for events to get together and meet my customers. Logistically, it was actually really difficult to go to the retailers all of the time to do trunk shows and events. And I did do that for a while, but it wasn't the way that I would have done it,
Okay.
And so around last Christmas, that's when I started wondering if that's the road that I really wanted to go. And I had to think about it for about 6 months before I signed the papers of the lease
Yes.
to open the store. And I do have to give thanks. So we're also in Thanksgiving week, Thanksgiving tomorrow. And I want to say thank you to my parents and my family for their support, because they offered me to take over their lease on Magazine Street. So that's how I was granted the opportunity to open in that location, which is such a great spot.
It is a great spot. So
Yeah.
saying that and thanking your parents who have been very helpful
Yes.
this last couple of months.
Yes.
And there is a reason for that, and perhaps not everybody knows why they had a location there. Tell us about that background.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I started working for my family's business. So for those that don't know, my family owns Sterling Sylvia. They have a location in the French Quarter across from the flea market, and they did have the location that I just took over. They started their business before I was born, but it evolved into jewelry in the early 90s.
Okay.
And so I was working with them right after Katrina. I was 15 years old when Katrina hit. So right around October of 2012, I started working for them and helping out because they lost a lot of their employees. And so they needed help, and I started helping them when I was 16. And I stayed with them for 7 years. And I also helped them open the initial Magazine Street location. So that's the story of how I grew up in the jewelry industry. I grew up in the business, so I was already familiar and aware of the ins and outs of, the best places to manufacture and the best countries to go to for different things. Some countries are better at working with certain gemstones, and other countries are better at sourcing pearls, and all really interesting and fascinating things. So that's how I grew up. And so they had their 2 stores. And then for me, I was happy online for a while. I was feeling a little unsatisfied, and that's when I went to them with my situation. And that's when they said, well, we are getting older and we're wanting to downsize, so why don't you consider taking over the lease of one of the locations? So it was offered to me the option if I wanted to be in the French Quarter or on Magazine Street.
Okay, and that's interesting. I did not know that
Yeah,
part.
yeah. And they were actually hoping that I leaned a little bit towards the French Quarter, but I know my clientele, and I knew that Magazine Street would be the best fit for me.
I think
Yeah.
you chose right. You chose correctly.
Yeah.
So how do you go from, like being part of this family business to like, I wanna do my own thing and I wanna create my own style and I
Yeah.
wanna. When did that hit for you?
Well, I was actually designing jewelry. I was doing these hand-beaded bracelets and necklaces for my family's business for a while. My
Okay.
mom taught me how to make beaded jewelry right after Katrina. So, I was always doing that, even at the family business. But once my contributions to the store grew and grew and grew and grew, and it became one of the more highlights of the store, that's when it became more of a collection.
Okay.
And the reason I decided to go my own separate way was because Sterling Sylvia and my family's business, their business model is completely different than the business model that I have. They go all over the world, they travel, they love to travel, and that's really the foundation of how their business started, was because my mom loves to go to the markets and buy the handmade jewelry made from the local artisans, and she brings back what she can and what she could, and she would sell them in the store. So Sterling Sylvia is a retail store that has a global influence of the jewelry that it represents. Whereas for me, my inspirations came from myself, from what was going on in my life. Hurricane Katrina was the first event that inspired me to make something.
Okay.
So everything that I make is my own designs. So it has nothing to do with going somewhere else to buy and source my own pieces, because it's all coming from
very
here,
internal.
in here.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Very internal. You just put it out in your jewelry,
Right.
and that's your success. You have your particular
Thank you.
style, and you
Yes.
have your designs that people who come to New Orleans love.
Yeah.
People who live in New Orleans love.
And that's how it started. So because of Katrina, and you've been here for most of your
20
life,
years,
right?
20 years.
That's amazing.
This week, actually.
So don't you remember how unifying it was, and the strong sense of community that there was right after
Absolutely.
Katrina.
Absolutely, that
And
changed
yeah,
everything.
and like fleur-de-lis exploded,
Yes.
the water meter, the saints, everyone was leaning on the saints for more hope and
Absolutely,
support.
yes, yes.
So when I started my business in 2012, there was still a lot of that in the air. It really wasn't until we got closer to the elections, the last elections, that I really started seeing a lot more division. But the point is that we started with this, my business started with this sense of strength and community in New Orleans. And so old Cristy, Cali jewelry designs are very centered around the city.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I got older and I grew up, not just as a designer, but just as a human being, I grew up and I had different experiences, and I grew up spiritually too, that I wanted my designs to reflect this new transformation and just these new instances that occurred in my life.
Awakening.
So, the awakening, yes.
And
That's what
so
happened.
I like that
That
we
is
got
what
into
happened.
this right on time, because
Yeah.
talking about spiritually, we can see visually that purple is a huge influence in everything, that it's in the story, in your designs, in your logo. And I asked you why, and you told me
Yes.
why. Tell
Yes.
me how all this spiritual awakening has happened for you. And
Yeah. Well, I've always been interested in things that are mystical and the metaphysical, astrology, all of that stuff was really interesting to me. But, also being Latin, sometimes those things are frowned upon. And so I distanced myself from those things early on. But once I started my own business and took my line separately from my parents, just so that there could be a difference in identity between the both.
absolutely, that
So
makes sense.
that's when I started becoming more invested in my own personal growth. And so first, there's this concept that if you want to grow spiritually, you have to accept yourself for who you are. And in order to accept yourself for who you are, I know you know the Bible quote, know thyself. Jesus said that, know thyself. And for you to really comprehend who you are, not just as Ana Maria or Cristy, you have to understand what you are as a human being. And we're not just
Flesh
we're
and
not just
bones.
huesos y piel, right? We are spiritual beings actually having a physical experience. And so I read so many books that had so many different ways of saying the same thing, which is that we are kind of limited in our perceptions, which is our sight, our hearing, our feeling, our taste, and our smelling. But those are only the sensors that we know of. There are other sensors, like when you get a bad feeling about something, that's essentially like that sixth sense, your intuition. All of those things play a part in the human experience. So as I continued with these studies of knowing thyself, I started realizing, wow, there really is a legitimate science behind astrology. There really is a legitimate science behind color therapy. There really is a legitimate science behind symbolism, because a lot of the symbolism that we see in ancient history is derived from sacred geometry, which is mathematics, and that's been here since humans have been around. So the reason that I use the color purple in in my brand is because, first of all, it's the color of mystics. So that's a really big deal to me. It already sets the tone for the supernatural, right? The second reason is because, and this is a huge part of my life, is forgiveness. And the whole idea of forgiveness has been not never ending. And I really want to talk about that because, we go through experiences all the time with other people where we have these encounters and we hold grudges, or we get upset about something, and then we just have all this anger or resentment or sadness built in. But the key to forgiving other people is learning to forgive yourself. And the reason you have to learn to forgive yourself is for not knowing better. And you have to take all of these experiences with gratitude. Again, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You have to, if you don't have to if you don't want to grow. But you have to if you do want to grow. You have to learn to forgive yourself for not knowing better. Pat yourself in the back and say, I know better next time. When you can learn to forgive yourself, that's when you can really start applying those principles with other people. And so that's really honestly one of the big reasons behind the color purple, was because in order for me to move on with my life, to grow the business, to be of service to my customers, to be the best person that I could be, I had to learn how to forgive. And I also hoped throughout that whole process that with all of the, and this applies to everyone, with all of the things that, all of the learning processes that I was going through, I probably hurt a lot of people in my life, whether directly or indirectly. And so that was such a necessary part of my process, because by doing the work, I knew that other people also had the power to forgive me. So,
that's nice.
yeah, it applies to everybody.
That's beautiful.
And that's something that like I said, I want to talk about it because I want that to be something that's almost synonymous with my brand, is just the theme of forgiveness and loving yourself and loving others and just unconditional love.
I like that. And I like the fact that, you know, obviously, I don't know, this is like a new era type of thing.
Yeah.
And brands are meaning more. Like, it's
More
not just a
conscious.
design, it's not just, you know, a beautiful piece that you are wearing because it's pretty.
Right.
But I saw that you printed a bunch of little signs that explain
Yes,
like the
yes, I
reasoning
did.
behind
I
everything that you
did.
created. And I
Yeah.
think that adds so much value, you know, to the creation itself, understanding from your perception and from your creation why that came to be.
Yeah.
It's just, it
Yeah.
really is a cool thing to incorporate into a
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah, it is cool. And for me, it was essential because no one understands, no one can read my mind, and no one really knows the meaning of a piece until I explain it.
I mean, and they can interpret it however you want because
Yeah.
it's art.
Yeah, it
But at the
is.
same time, like, if
Right.
you, to know like the thoughts behind it,
Exactly.
it's really interesting.
It's great if you are attracted to it just by the design itself, but ultimately, with my brand, it's the meaning that you have and the connection that you have with that
Exactly.
piece that builds your relationship with the piece of jewelry. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And going back to like the spiritual learning and all this process that you've gone through, I want people to know that because of all these studies, you are a coach as well, right?
I am.
And
I
so
am.
like Cristy, it's on our cover, but she's also contributing to Vivanola magazine.
I am. I'm
providing-
so thankful for the opportunity to do that too.
No, we
I
are so
love
excited. You provide like this inspirational pieces, and you provide us with some of the knowledge that you have acquired.
Yeah.
And people can use those services from you, right? Like, what kind of services? Tell us.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a website separately for that service. It's drchristykali.com.
Doctor.
And Doctor of Metaphysics, so like a magic doctor, where I offer 3 different kind of services. One is spiritual and life coaching. So if someone's just feeling like stuck in a rut and they want to change their life for the better and have more energy and need assistance in changing their perceptions to see more happiness in their life, I can do that. The other thing that I do is, honestly, because of my experience with my family's business growing up, there are so many businesses out there that have been around for a long time, and they don't have somebody young that can teach them how to bring their business up to the 21st century with technology, with social media, with just all these new digital platforms. So I like helping those small businesses that need a little guidance, coaching on how to do that.
From somebody who's gotten a lot of success from doing that. So
Well, there was
proven. It's proven.
There was a lot of trial and error with that. So yeah, I mean,
but you walked the walk.
Yes,
so you already know,
Yes.
what works and what doesn't work. So
yes,
that's
yes,
a great
that's
opportunity for
true.
whoever is out there wanting to get some guiding.
Yes, yes. And lastly, the third thing that I help with is more of domestic coaching, where I've helped some couples that are going through difficulties in relationships. So helping with that, and also with family dynamics. So helping people to set boundaries, helping also, some of the older generations, they are somewhat rigid in their thinking sometimes and are not so open to new ways of thinking from the younger, more, open-minded generation. So just helping create more harmony within families too, because, it's not something that is comfortable to talk about, but it happens all the time. These dysfunctional families, it's not a rare thing.
No,
It's
no, no.
much more common
Yes.
than people think.
We all know, especially again,
Yeah.
when you get into this Thanksgiving and holiday
Yes, with
gathering.
Thanksgiving and everything.
Can
So
be beautiful, but sometimes it's hectic.
yeah. So since we're going into that, let me just give one word of advice to everyone,
Perfect.
which is there's a 3-step process that my professor helped to teach me, and I like to teach other people. So number 1 is self-acceptance, and I'll go through the steps. So self-acceptance. Number 2 is self-responsibility. And number 3 is respect for free will. Those 3 things can literally come together for a real sense of self-completeness. But regarding Thanksgiving and some of the problems that could possibly arise in family gatherings with so many different perceptions and experiences and thoughts, is respect for free will. Respect for free will, because if you want your opinions and your own being to be respected, then you have to do the same for others. So to me, that's the biggest thing for having a harmonious Thanksgiving, is just let people have their 5 minutes and let people just say what they need to say. Let them get it out. And it's equal opportunity for everyone.
And agree to disagree if necessary.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that has to be applied for Thanksgiving dinner, for everyday commenting on social media. That can be very, very, very ugly.
Yes.
It can be good for politics. So I like those 3 steps. I'm going to write it down and
respect
remember
for
them.
free will. I think that's a really important one, because people can feel impulsive in having to react or respond. No one says that you have to react or respond.
That's right.
There's no rule.
Yeah.
And just because you don't react or respond doesn't mean you're being passive about it. It just means that you're being respectful. And keeping that in mind, just ask yourself, how would you want to be respected if you were in the same situation?
Very nice. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to business.
Yes.
Because again, holiday season is started and you are an entrepreneur and you have a lot of products out there that will be great.
Yes, we have a sale too.
That's where I'm getting to.
Okay.
Yes. So tell me about
That's what everybody wants to know.
Yeah, of course, because we're going down the list, for the family, for the friend, for the boyfriend, for the girlfriend, for everybody.
Yeah, so on my website, there's a wish list feature. So if you go on my website, you can put everything that you want in there and share it with mom, dad, husband, sisters, whoever you need to.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So that's good. The other thing is that starting on Friday at midnight, we are going to, midnight for the website, right? the store opens at 11 a.m., just for the record. We are having a 35% off everything sale. There's only 2 exceptions to the sale, and those are something that I call signature pieces. And also, we're a distributor for Young Living, which is an essential oil company.
Yes, I wanted to talk about
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just so people know, signature designs are those hand beaded necklaces and bracelets that I make in my home studio. And the signature designs is where I integrate the coaching with the jewelry. I mean, it all is, but more so with these pieces because they're very intention based, and I only make 1, 2, or 3 pieces. So, for example, pearls are ruled by the moon, and the moon rules our emotional body. So it is said in Vedic astrology that if you wear pearls, it helps to heal your emotional body.
Oh, I had no idea. That is so cool.
And there's different stones that are associated with different planets, and depending on your birth chart, they say in Vedic astrology that if you wear the wrong gemstone, it could actually be somewhat malefic of an energy for you, depending on your chart. But that there's always gemstones that can counteract any malefic planets in your chart. I find that stuff super fascinating. And so when I'm making the jewelry, I always talk about, I write a note card for every one that I make. I say what the materials are, why I chose that piece, and also if there's any silver charms or pieces on there, I write about that as well. That way, because I don't know who's going to buy it, right? So whenever the person opens the card, they understand what the intention behind the piece was and how they can utilize that in their life to empower themselves.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I love those pieces.
Well, now you know. But different sales going on, right? So the main one, the 30% off?
Yeah, 35% off
35.
until from Black Friday until December 8th.
Yeah, right. Now you know where to go. And if you want something, go make your own wish list. Cristy, thank you so much. It was so lovely to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Well, since you're going to be writing for the magazine, if you want to come back and have this type of conversations
Absolutely.
on a regular basis, you are more than welcome to join us.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
So we're going to stick around for a little bit more.
Okay.
No, thank you for being here. Because we're going to watch this Azucar ball.
Oh, exciting.
Yes.
I'm surprised. I actually thought it was happening next month. It's usually always in December.
It is usually always in December.
I had no idea.
Yes, you missed it.
I missed
a few people missed it, but it was a great event as always. And if you know, this is an event that raises funds for education for like Hispanic students of high school and now college as well.
Oh, nice.
But it's a great event, so let's take a look at
let's check it out.
Nos encontramos en el Azucar Bowl. Este año el tema es Nueva Vista Social Club, celebrando la cultura cubana y por supuesto la cultura latinoamericana y los esfuerzos del Hispanic Heritage Foundation. Vamos a hablar con algunos de los organizadores y algunos de los participantes de este grandioso evento de la comunidad latina en Nueva Orleans. Obviously, one of the founders of the Azucar Bowl and the Hispanic Heritage Foundation, Mr. George Fowler. I want to know, after all these years, you keep working strong for the community. Tell me, what is it that drives you to continue this mission?
Well, I mean, I started this organization 31 years ago. But look at all these people that work here and contribute and write checks. But I mean, I get up on the stage a lot and I thank people, but I don't do much compared to what the work that the people do, particularly the young women and young men that know that every nickel from this event goes to the children. And you have to be, first, a very good student. We have a committee of 5 that makes sure that happens. So if you don't work hard, number two, they have to be Latin American. And number three, they have to need the money, the family. And the stories that I've seen, we gave a scholarship to a girl one time who that year had lost two parents, both parents. And so it's a very rewarding event.
And what about the growth of the community and the growth of the need for this help?
I mean, so I support the Hispanic community. I'm in the Anglo community, but this organization is very good representations of the Hispanic community, their generosity, their love of children, their love of education. We have a great group from the Hispanic community in New Orleans. And this organization grabs them all, puts them together, and puts them to work.
Por supuesto, a través de los años han estado muy involucrados en lo que es el Hispanic Heritage Foundation. Quiero saber, o quiero que le diga a la gente que nos está viendo, por qué esta misión es tan importante y por qué ustedes como familia están tan involucrados.
Estamos muy involucrados porque los dos sabemos el valor de una buena educación. Nuestras familias llegaron, bueno, yo nací en Nueva York y mi esposo llegó de 2 o 3 años de Cuba. Y nos pusimos a estudiar y a trabajar duro y hemos podido alcanzar a llegar a un nivel donde podemos conseguir buenos trabajos y yo sé ese valor y eso es alguien que no te lo puede quitar nada, nadie te puede quitar eso.
Y también por esta ayuda a la comunidad y por todo lo que usted hace, ha recibido el premio de Woman of the Year por otra de las publicaciones de la ciudad. Cuéntenme qué significa para ustedes ese reconocimiento de Woman of the Year.
Para mí ese reconocimiento fue muy importante porque hace solamente 15 años que llegué a la ciudad y me sentí que me habían acogido, que se habían dado cuenta del esfuerzo que había puesto en todas las diferentes organizaciones con las cuales yo he estado involucrada y me sentí orgullosa, feliz y muy honrada. Fue una gran sorpresa.
Felicitaciones por eso y por todo lo que hacen ustedes por la comunidad.
No, gracias a ustedes por hacer esto y por ponernos a nosotros para que se dé cuenta el pueblo de esta obra.
Edgar Duque Chase, you are here participating in this great event for the Azucar Bowl for the Hispanic Heritage Foundation. Why do you feel the need to be here and be part of it?
I very much admire this organization for the scholarships they raise, the money that they raise to help students go into higher education. I used to be with Loyola's Board of Trustees, but I know the importance of college education. And I like the orientation of making sure that Hispanic students have opportunities in higher education. So I'm so thrilled to always participate here.
Como siempre, una buena fiesta. Y me voy a cambiar a español aquí porque no hablamos de eso.
Okay.
Que Cristy, bueno, ella nació en Guatemala,
Sí.
pero creció por aquí y a veces de chiquita iba y venía bastante.
Sí.
Entonces
Sí.
también habla español para todos sus servicios. Si quieren ir preguntar cosas de las joyas
Sí.
o del coach metafísico, puede
Y
ayudar.
Karen habla español también.
Karen, la manager de la tienda. Sí. ¿De
Sí.
dónde es ella? ¿De Nicaragua, quiero decir?
Sí, ella es de Nicaragua y la señora que trabaja en mi oficina, que trabaja con el website, ella es de El Salvador.
O sea que hay también bastante influencia latina en
Sí,
Cristy, Cali.
bastante.
¿Y algunos hobbies que nos quieras contar?
Hobbies. ¡Wow! El único hobby que tengo tiempo es hacer joyería.
Ah, bueno,
Porque
perfecto.
me encanta hacerlo. Así que sí, mañana cuando no estoy ocupada voy a estar ahí en la casa haciendo más joyería.
Pero la tienda va a estar abierta para Thanksgiving. Entonces todas las compras online mañana.
Sí, mañana lo puedes comprar online. Y yo creo que voy a cambiar el dato para el sale en el website para que empiece mañana.
La fecha.
La fecha,
Ok,
sí, la fecha.
Perfecto.
Sí.
Bueno, entonces ahora sí nos despedimos de verdad.
Ay, gracias.
Thank you so much for being on
Y
Conexiones.
gracias a todos ustedes por estar aquí con nosotros.
Así es.
Sí.
Y los dejamos como siempre con los eventos para este fin de semana con Jay Coelho. Hasta la próxima.
Adiós.
Hola amigos de Conexiones, yo soy Jay Coelho y estos son los eventos que se aproximan. Festival of Trees disfruta de la colección creativa de árboles festivos del Museo de los Niños, creada por escuelas locales, artistas y la comunidad. También habrá presentaciones comunitarias de coros locales, grupos de baile, conjuntos de jazz, bandas escolares y mucho más. Este festival inicia el sábado 30 y finaliza hasta el 29 de diciembre. Audubon Zoo Lights celebra la temporada navideña con la exhibición de luces del zoológico de Audubon. En noches selectas, desde el 29 de noviembre al 30 de diciembre, puedes disfrutar de una exhibición iluminada y festiva con réplicas a tamaño real de animales del zoológico, además del espectáculo tan esperado de luces. Celebration in the Oaks, desde Acción de Gracias hasta Año Nuevo, puedes disfrutar de uno de los espectáculos de luces navideñas más espectaculares del país. Observa cómo toda City Park se transforma en 25 acres de luces deslumbrantes y exhibiciones festivas impresionantes. El parque, el Jardín Botánico, Storyland y el parque de atracciones Carousel Gardens están capturados con cientos de miles de luces para crear un paraíso invernal. Disfruta de la diversión y la felicidad festiva para toda la familia iniciando este 29 de noviembre todos los viernes y sábados a partir de las 5 de la tarde a las 11 y domingos a jueves a partir de las 6 a las 10 de la noche. Miracle on Fulton, aunque no hay nieve real en Nueva Orleans en Navidad, las luces de Fulton Street pueden crear la ilusión. El deslumbrante día de fiesta Nevadas ocurre cada hora. Miracle on Fulton Street atrae a las multitudes con sus pantallas de luces mágicas. No te lo querrás perder. Abre este 29 de noviembre hasta el 28 de diciembre. Y sin olvidar que somos la ciudad de los parades, me despido contándoles sobre el Norco Christmas Parade. El desfile de Navidad de Norco se extenderá el domingo 1 de diciembre a las 2 de la tarde, comenzando en River Road y Washington Street y terminando en Norco. El tema del desfile este año es Norco Noel. Con esta listita de eventos me despido de ustedes. Si quieres más detalles, visita nuestro sitio web vivanolamac.com. Les deseo un Happy Thanksgiving a todos. Hasta la próxima.